At the end of this video, either you're going to be very excited about risk management or you're going to get the real truth and probably you will take or change path to some other fields. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times people get into risk management and they realize that, oh, why am I doing this? I mean, this is just checking activity, or this is not a very intellectual activity as per the standards of the students. So that's the reason why I thought that it's good to talk about risk management. So we're going to start by talking about what is not risk management, rather than talking about what is risk management. Then we're going to understand what is risk management. We also look at a standard risk management structure that companies tend to follow in terms of the entire organizational structure. Then we look at various jobs on risk management as per category, which will probably open up your mind as to why generally people have this trouble with risk management when they end up in a risk management job. We will also talk about the skills and knowledge and qualification which is required to enter risk management, and probably it will be very different from what you actually imagine. And finally, I'm going to take a simple example of risk management in banking, which is more prominent, at least post the 2008 financial crisis. So risk management does not really mean avoiding risk. Okay, it is in fact setting how much risk do you want to take. Okay, so the answer of any risk management structure, policy, or strategy is about what am I comfortable with at an organization level. So, which means that risk management tolerance or risk management limits are not set by an analyst, but rather the board and the senior most management of the company. For example, if you were running a hedge fund, okay, then in order to set what is the tolerance of risk, right? So you would probably say that I do not want to take any standard deviation of a security which is greater than 25%. This is the limit of risk management. Okay. Generally, the perception on risk management is that we will be sitting here and random way we will be trying to monitor. That's not how it happens. So the risk management policy starts from the top. Okay. So this will become more clearer in the next slide. This is an example of an ICICI risk management structure. So, of course, a lot of things you might not understand out here, but you should pay attention to the left-hand side. Okay, so if you see to the left-hand side, you will see these are the various types of teams which are there in a risk management team, right? So these are your various risk management provisions or techniques which are getting used. But you will see that there is something called as credit risk. Now, this is a team in a credit risk management, in risk management, overall structure. Then you've got your market risk, which again concentrates on understanding, models like VAR, which is very common in, risk management, at least from a finance angle. Then you've got your liquidity risk, which might be also be, compulsory to follow if you're in banking. Then you've got your operational risk. Now, operational risk is slightly different because operational risk does not relate to finance in general, but everything else. So every internal activity that goes in a company comes under operational risk. For example, activities of your employees would fall under operational risk, right? The human resource, strength, the fact that key man risks which are there in a company might be operational risk, and compliance risk is overall the company surviving in a ecosystem of business obviously has to follow a lot of rules set out by the government. So if in case you violate that, there's a risk of regulatory risk, right? You might have to pay fines, you might have to fight a lot of legal battles, right? So those are compliances. So if you can see how the risk management structure is there, so it's not just an analyst who's just sitting here and trying to investigate things. It's much more deeper than that. It's a more detailed system than what people imagine, right? So now let's try to look at a risk management organization structure. So as I said, the policies and the governance is set at the highest level at the board of directors level. Then you've got your risk committee. Okay, so risk committee will nowadays this is how the structure actually works, right? So you've got your chairman of the risk committee. Then you've got your chief internal auditor officer. This is the committee which is trying to. It's like a watchdog inside the company. Now, jobs. Obviously, this is where probably a lot of candidates might be interested in. Now, there are three. This is how I try to look at least in terms of jobs of fresher. Three categories of jobs. One is compliance risk jobs. These are more common jobs available in the market. Then you've got your credit risk jobs. Okay, these are a little uncommon, and your operational risk jobs. Okay, now if you want to get into compliance risk jobs, which are plenty available, you need to be aware of certain regulatory laws. You need to understand transactional data so you can audit them. You also need to understand various KYC rules so that whenever a new customer comes, you understand what are the minimum documentation which is required, or whether the person is eligible for buying this product or not. And of course, reporting your risk summaries on a monthly basis. Right now, operational risk. I'll cover operational risk first. So these are risks related to your employee activities in the company. Okay, so any abnormal activities have to be reported, right? Then you've got your basic MIS reporting, which you do. What to do in terms of internal policy violation of the company, that also falls under your operational risk management jobs, right? Then you've got your premium jobs, which are credit risk jobs. Now, these are jobs which are more related to financial risk rather than compliance or operational, right? So something called as VAR, which is value at risk, which calculates at a point in time how much can you actually lose in total. So that VAR computation models are there. Then you might be told to validate your risk models which you are running in a company. You might be assigned the activity of testing whether new risk models which are getting implemented in the company are actually working fine or not, and how various teams are using the risk models. So those are premium jobs in the team. Now, for operational risk and credit risk, since these are a slightly more intellectually challenging jobs, so it requires skills like financial modeling, which you should learn because you will be dealing with a lot of calculation and creating newer decision making parameters, right? So these are the three categories of jobs. Okay, now in terms of compensation, of course, basis the difficulty of the job itself, the compensation also varies. So compliance jobs are obviously fall under the lower category of compensation, so they might be somewhere around 3.5 to 4. Operational risk jobs, at least at the entry level, might pay you somewhere around 4.5 to 6 lakhs, and credit risk related jobs, specifically in model testing and creating newer models, testing, implementation, will have pretty good salaries even for freshers, right? Qualifications, again, compliance risk jobs, you really don't need too much qualifications. Even a basic finance or commerce qualification is good for you to start. Operational risk, a good background in business like an MBA qualification is enough. Of course, you can also apply with CA and CFA also, but even with an MBA, that's fine. And if you're looking for premium jobs in risk management, which is related to model testing, like what we discussed just a while back, then you need premium qualifications like CA, CFA, MBA Tier 1, and also FRM, right? So FRM, so it does not mean that if you don't have an FRM, you can apply. You can apply without FRM also, but you have to have some premium qualification guidelines, right? Now, opportunities, of course, in the same manner, higher opportunities are there here. Okay, medium opportunities are there here, especially for freshers, and these are niche jobs, right? So the ideal thing to do would be to start off at either compliance or ops, and then slowly try to progress to credit risk-based jobs, right? Because your experience would be relevant.
Okay, there's a new video just coming up every week on finance, investment banking, career guidances. So if you want to stay updated with such content, please do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.